Hello and welcome into a weekend in sport on the Benchwarmers podcast, where we bring you all of the sporting results from all of the major leagues from across the world, all wrapped into one. This week we have got NFL, NBA, we've got cricket, and the less talked about that, the better. We've got Formula One and we've got Premier League. So without further ado, let's get started. And why not start with the worst of everything? And that is the second Ashes test, England versus Australia. And as I said, the less said about it, the best. England getting absolutely dismantled again within 4 days. That is now only 6 days worth of cricket over 2 tests. England absolutely getting smashed by a second string Australian side. Things aren't looking great at the moment, but let's get into the cricket. Started off well with the first innings, a total score of 334 all out. Joe Root getting his first test century on Australian soil. That total, you're going, okay, we've got something here, especially how they started 5 for 2 at one point. Getting that total, you're going, okay, we can do this. Crawley getting a good score, 76. Root 138. Brook 31. A few partnerships on the way. Root and Archer putting a Root and Archer putting a partnership together. So there was a few good knocks across the team. Still not great reading. However, they managed to put a score on the board, something defendable. Unfortunately, that wasn't the case. Mitch Stark as well must get some special mention in the first innings. 75 for 6 wickets, continue his form. But as you move on into the second day of Australia's innings, 511 all out going into day 3. Again, not great readings. England bowlers just not able to get the wickets where needed. Some good partnerships. We did get a few wickets leading into the end of day 2. But Australia is getting a really good total and setting a lead for themselves leading into England's second innings. And not only that, we made Mitchell Starc look like a good batsman. He ended up scoring 77. But when you look across the whole order of Australia, Head with 33, Weatherald 72, Labuschagne 65, Smith 61, Green 45, Carey 63. So basically all their top order batsmen getting at least above 40. And you compare that to us, our top order, we've got 2 above 30. So not great reading. England with a lot to do after Australia setting that total and setting their lead. Unfortunately, didn't go that way. Crawley 44. Again, not great reading. 15, 26, 15 for Joe Root. Brook 15 as well. And then it got to Stokes, who managed to save the innings a little bit, just to make it a little bit more respectable with partnerships with Jacks. Just to get that score, and instead of having an innings loss, managed to get a lead of some sort. It wasn't a lot. I believe it was around 70 runs, and Australia just absolutely smashed that. We finished 241 all out. Australia finishing their second innings 69 for 2. So not great reading there. There's a lot of talk that has come out of it. A lot of banter between players, between Archer and Smith while on the pitch as well. But Bazmore not looking at the greatest at the moment, and you gotta hope we can turn it around. We're English, so that's what we do. However, it's not looking great reading, is it? 2 tests down now. Australia 2-0 lead. 3 tests to go, meaning we've got to win all 3 tests and potentially need a miracle or to turn around this kind of form. Again, Australia with a second string side and still absolutely smashing us. So something needs to turn around. But as I said before, the less talked about, the better. We've been almost 5 minutes on here, so let's move on into the Premier League with a week of a lot of crazy results, a lot of much needed wins for teams. We've had fluctuation on the table as well, and the table is one of the closest I can remember. So let's get straight into the results. And at start of the week, a big upset, Villa beating Arsenal. Villa were down the bottom of the table at the start of the season, but now are 3 points, I believe. I'll just double check that, but 3 points. 3 points off the top spot of Arsenal. Arsenal have let their lead slip. Are they choking? Are they doing what everyone knows they love to do? Moving on, bit of a boring draw, 0-0, Bournemouth and Chelsea. Everton getting a 3-0 win against Forest. Great news as a Leeds United fan for that one. Forest losing there. Everton doing great things. David Moyes doing great things there. Moving up into 7th place on 24 points. As I said, there is a bit of a congestion there, so they're only 2 points off the Champions League spots. Man City absolutely annihilating Sunderland. 3-0. Sunderland getting a red card there as well. Sunderland have lost, won in 5. So not after such a great start. They've got a lot of AFCON players leaving, so it'll be interesting to see what that happens there. Newcastle have turned form around a little bit. 2-1 beating Burnley. Burnley well and truly in the relegation spots at the moment after Leeds having a good week. Spurs beating Brentford 2-0. Move Spurs up the table a little bit on 22 points. And the big one for me, Liverpool blowing a 2-0 lead to draw 3-3 with Leeds. That's after Leeds having a really good week, taking Man City all the way, beating Chelsea 3-1, and then drawing with the champions in Liverpool. Liverpool, if they won that game, could have moved to 5th place, I believe. So not great for Arne Slot, but what a great week for Leeds. Looking like the manager may have got sacked. Daniel Farke may have got sacked, got fired. But they've had a great week with a week that nobody would have expected, taking 4 points out of 7 across this week of football. And that moves Leeds out of the relegation spaces as well. And other results, Palace getting a win against Fulham 2-1 there. Palace, what a couple of seasons it's been for them, going from the relegation spots, winning FA Cup, now in Europe as well, and in those Champions League spaces, now 4th. Only, 7 points off league leaders Arsenal, but in 4th spot there. West Ham and Brighton a draw, and then in the earlier game today, Man U absolutely smashing Wolves and moving into 6th place there. Wolves, you would think it's kind of season over unless there's something drastic that happens there, which would mean we would get a bit of a change to the teams that get relegated, meaning the 3 that have been promoted aren't automatically going down. But that is still a long season. It is the Premier League. Anything can happen. But let's move on to the table. Arsenal still in the lead, 33 points in 1st. Man City in 2nd, 2 points off them. Villa moving up to 3rd. 30 on 30, really good form from them. And as I said, Palace in 4th, Chelsea rounding it out, those spots in 5th and on same points as Manchester United. In the middle, you move down, you've got the likes of Liverpool, Tottenham around the same. There is a very big points congestion from 4th till about, I'd say, 12th spot in Newcastle. So there is a big points congestion there. As you move down, you've got Leeds, Forest, and Fulham just outside the relegation spots, but again, very close. As I said, Wolves are almost but done in relegation. Burnley on 10 points, so there's an 8-point gap between them and Wolves. West Ham above them in 18th spot on 13. Forest have slipped on down into 17th. Leeds have jumped them into 16th on points difference, 15 and 15 there. So it is getting very congested as we move into the festive fixtures. But it'll be very interesting to see what goes on there. A couple of big weeks coming up. Obviously, not a congested fixture as normal, but we do have the FA Cup coming up in January as well. Moving on, let's get into some Formula 1. And Lando Norris has won his first ever F1 championship. So congratulations, Lando. And it came down to the final race in Abu Dhabi. Max Verstappen finishing 1st, Piastri finished 2nd, and Lando Norris getting that podium finish in 3rd, what he needed to take the championship. In other results, George Russell in 5th, Ferrari and Leclerc in fourth place, and Lewis Hamilton all the way down in eighth. Not a great season for him and Ferrari, obviously. And then for New Zealanders, Liam Lawson all the way down in 18th, which was very disappointing end to the season for him. Congratulations to Lando Norris on that. As I said, it came right down to the wire. We've had a change in title holders, no more Red Bull or Mercedes and McLaren. I think that's the first time since Lewis Hamilton was there. So it's great to see in the sport that we've had a bit of a change. So that was Abu Dhabi, final race of the season. There's going to be a lot of changes going on, so I'll be interested to see what happens. New teams coming into the Formula One as well. So let's see what happens in the next season. And then let's move on into the NFL. Again, like the Premier League, a very weird league at the moment, but we are moving into the final stages of the season. A lot of games will start snowing in certain areas as well. But let's get into the games this week. We started off with the Cowboys and Lions on Friday. Friday Night Football. Lions absolutely smashing the Cowboys there, 44-30. That does move the Lions into the playoff spots, but the Cowboys remain 6-6, so just on 500 there. They have a draw as well, I believe. Is that correct? I think so. Rams absolutely smashing the Cardinals, so that keeps Rams firm in number one spot there. Chicago losing to Green Bay, obviously division rivals on that one. So great win for the Packers there. Raiders actually keeping it close against Denver, and there was a really weird play for the Raiders right at the end of the game in the 2-minute warning, getting all the way up the field and then taking a field goal, which has annoyed some bettors because it took it within 7, which a lot of people would have probably had the plus margin on that one. Other games, Cincinnati just losing out to the Bills. Now, Joe Burrow had a lead against the Bills there, so Bills have done well to come back. And as a Patriots fan, it's disappointing because we want the Bills to lose as much as we can to keep that AFC lead, the division conference lead. So the Saints, upset of the week for me, beating the Buccaneers. And the Buccaneers have been hot and cold, but the Saints have been a horrible team this season. What's their record? 3-10 now. And with the Buccaneers, that keeps them in 4th space with that loss. So not great news for them, but I believe that may keep them with their division lead as well. And Dolphins smashing the Jets, another division game with that one. Not much of a game, to be honest. I think the Dolphins are in the hunt, but there's a lot of teams in the hunt. The Vikings keeping the Commanders to zip, a shutout there, 31-0. Absolute hiding in that one. The Colts and the Jags smashing the Colts. So Colts season may be on a hinge. They were one of the best teams in the league. They have dropped in form. Their QB is now out for the season, and there's talks that Phillip Rivers may be coming out of retirement to play for them, and apparently they're taking him on in training at the moment. So it'll be interesting to see what happens there, because I think they've dropped into the wildcard spots. And other results, Titans, Browns in that game. Titans taking it 31-29. It's a bottom of the table game. Browns now 3-10. Titans only getting their second win of the season. And other results though, and a division game. Pittsburgh taking their division now, 27-22 over the Steelers. Aaron Rodgers pulling one out there. The Ravens in very disappointing form this season. Lamar not in great form as well, so they're very close in there. So Steelers have that division clinch, 7-6. So the Ravens are going to have to win some games or win more than Steelers to get into that top spot there. Other ones, Seattle smashed the Falcons 37-9. Seattle staying up the top end of the NFC. And then is the dynasty over? The Texans 20-10 over the Chiefs. Pat Mahomes Chiefs. I love to see this as a Pats fan because all the talk was over Mahomes. Is he better than Brady? Is this a better dynasty than the Patriots? Is it over? Chiefs will need a lot of results to go their way. They're not in the wild card anymore. They've moved out of 8 seed. They are 2 games back out of 8 seed. So very interesting to see what happens there. And then the final game, which I believe has been played today, it should be the Chargers-Eagles. Again, it's a division game. Sorry, not a division game. It's something that the Eagles, will want to win to try and keep up with the Rams at the top of the NFC there, and the Chargers, who are on a bit of a run of form as well, will want to win that to get out of the wild card spots as well. And then finally, we'll touch on some NBA results from across the weekend. And again, I don't know what's going on with sport at the moment, but how good is it? We're seeing a lot of different results, a lot of fluctuation. All the good teams, or so-called good teams, are having their form drops, and we're seeing changes. I love it. It's good to see in sport. So we'll touch on a few of the games. You got Atlanta absolutely smashing the Wizards 131-116. Golden State beating the Cavs 99-94. Good win there for the Warriors. Not so great for the Cavs, especially where they are. The Bucks are losing to the Pistons. Bucks are in turmoil. If they didn't have Giannis, who knows where they'd be at the moment. They're in the play-in, so in 10th spot, and there's talks that Giannis may be on the trade block or may not be happy there. Clippers losing out to the Timberwolves 109-106, and I hate the Clippers at the moment, so I want them to lose and lose and lose and lose that pick to OKC as well, which is absolutely crazy when you think how many picks OKC have and how much young talent they have on their team. Sacramento beating the Heat, another one to turn up there, 127-111. The Rockets losing out to the Mavs. That's another crazy result, especially when we go to the table, and the Mavs we're at the Mavs in 11th, so the Rockets losing out there. Magic next taking that one 106 100. Celtics beating the Raptors. The Raptors have been in good form this season, so that one's one for the ages a little bit there, especially considering the Celtics actually, the injuries they have and where they are for the season, but the Raptors are playing really well as well. Nuggets beating the Hornets, a good win there for the Nuggets, remaining in the 3rd spot in the Western Conference. Trailblazers 96-119 to the Memphis Grizzlies. And then that is all of the games for the weekend games. So we'll touch on the league at the moment. Western Conference, OKC remaining well and truly up the top, and surely our favourites to take the NBA. Only losing 1 game, so they're on a 20 I think it's a 23-game win streak. One of only 3 teams at the moment who have done that. I think they are potentially going to break that Warriors win record. Lakers in 2nd, some good form from them. Nuggets in 3rd, Rockets in 4th, and as we move down into the play-in, you've got the Suns in 7th, Warriors in 8th, Grizzlies in 9th, and the Trailblazers in 10th. And way down there, you've got the Pelicans, Clippers, and Kings for the lower order. As we move into the Eastern, Pistons continue that hot streak, and you love to see it. In 1st place, 19-5. Knicks in 2nd. Celtics, as I say, are doing something that not a lot of people thought they would do this season, especially due to their injuries. 15-9. So it's a good season for them. Raptors in 4, and rounding out the top 6, Magic and the Heat. Down the bottom, you've got the Wizards, always around there. Pacers have gone from, I guess, NBA finalists to